Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today because in this video, we're talking all about some dated trends that people thought were out, but they are back in. And that's why I always tell you, don't follow the trends, embrace you because these ones are back and I'm seeing them all over. And the first one is actually the oriental rug. Yes. The oriental rug is back on trend and I am seeing it. I'm maybe shopping around for some of my own, but that's beside the point. I love it and I'm seeing this quite often. Now, it's kind of a return back to a more traditional style rug, be it the pattern or the color scheme. So the color scheme of having a lot of reds in the space, a lot of people got away from it because they just wanted things to be super neutral and bright, but I think we're getting to a place where we're moving back into that space where color is okay and you can use it and you can use it sparingly or you can use it more dramatically, just depending on the style you're going for. I love an oriental carpet because there's great saturation there, there's great color there, and there's incredible craftsmanship and quality there too. It says something, and I love that. Now, I recently had a conversation with a client where she really likes these oriental rugs, and I'm totally on board with it, love it, great for her style too, but we were looking at a runner, and I'm like, you can't just get any runner that has this color scheme because it's very, very difficult to replicate on, like synthetic materials. Red reads differently if it's in wool versus like polypropylene or something. Like you can also find more muted versions of these that are in those synthetic rugs, and I think that's totally okay too. You have to embrace what is livable and what is realistic for you in your home, because at the end of the day, not everything is for everybody. Not everyone is gonna be able to manage or live with it. If you have dogs, if you have kids that are gonna make a mess, like you wanna go for something that's maybe a little less delicate, more inexpensive, and that you won't feel so bad about getting rid of if something goes wrong with it. But the oriental rug is back and I am seeing this all over social media and all over my favorite designers' pages, and I'm glad to see it. Now, another trend that is back, I am seeing all over the place, literally so much of it, it's not even funny, are brick floors. I love a brick floor, but you have to be very careful with this. And I think people are going in this really dramatic direction, like the pendulum always swings. It goes from one thing to the other. And so right now we're embracing this like English cottage, these soft and warm spaces that have a little bit of that traditional influence, maybe with a modernized take on them, and that's okay. But the brick floors are something you really have to think long and hard about because they're beautiful, they're gorgeous, they're stunning, but they are very difficult to clean. That's why you see them a lot outside. You see like a brick patio, or you'll have like a front step that's done in brick. Outside of a house can be done in brick, great. But you can pressure wash it, you can power wash it, you can scrub it down outside and hose it off, and that's fine. You can't do that inside though. So like a kitchen with a brick floor is a no for me. A bathroom with a brick floor, also a no for me. It's not that I don't think they look good. It's all about like, I'm not cleaning it, okay? Like far be it from me, I'm not the one. I'm a lot of things, but spending all day on my hands and knees with a toothbrush scrubbing the floor is not one of those things. So I would opt for something that maybe has that look or has that feel, or maybe has that pattern to it instead of the authentic material. Plus, if you're using a real brick, it has a lot of depth to it, so you have to be aware of that, and you may have to that's really something you do when you're building a house, so you can have the foundations altered to accommodate the depth of that. Or you could use a brick veneer. I don't know, a lot of people are mad at a brick veneer. I'm not really fazed by it. Like, it's just a thin piece of brick. So like some people, oh, is it veneer? Like, what does that even mean? Like, it's a veneer. Like, yeah, that's what it is. Like most homes that are built today that are brick veneer. So like, what difference does it make? But a brick floor is back. I'm seeing this all over the place on many, many designers' pages. And I do love it for the aesthetic, for the vibe, for the feeling, but I don't love it for the realistic living with it aspect. I would never do it in my home. I would do a patio in brick. I would do a front step in brick all day long. I live in a red brick house, okay? I love it, but it's not for every flooring surface in your space. And like I said, you can find a porcelain or a synthetic tile that mimics this or has that same feeling and lay it in a herringbone brick pattern, and that'll get you that look without having the compromise of the actual brick. And also remember, brick has very thick grout lines, like it's supposed to be mortar, not grout, so that also has an effect. If you want the look and feel of brick in your space without the commitment of scrubbing floors, a brick fireplace surround is wonderful. Like I said, a brick patio can be gorgeous. You can do a brick application on a wall. That's a little far for me. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it because there's a lot of weight in that. It's a big commitment, and also brick kind of comes in and out of fashion quite often. So like you might like it for the next 3 years and then want to paint it, and then now you have painted brick and now you don't like it, so you want to, I don't know, strip the paint off the brick. Like, it's a whole thing. I think you have to really consider whether this is your personal style or not before you commit to it. Now, no matter what you're doing in your space, sometimes you may need a voice of reason there to determine whether something is going to be dated very quickly or will be timeless, or how to make something that would be considered dated look timeless. A designer is your best friend and the perfect person to do that, and I would happen to be one of those. So you can always book a one-on-one interior decorating consultation with me where I can look at your space. We can do virtually on your phone. We can have a look around. You can show me everything, ask me your questions, and I can answer those difficult ones for you to move your space into a beautiful, elevated, elegant, and timeless space. So be sure you check out the link in the description box down below or go to intro.co/GarrettLeChic. Now, another dated trend that is back, and this one is interesting because I've been recommending it to clients. They've been coming to me with it. I've seen it on social media, and it's something we have to talk about, is granite. Now, I've mentioned granite before because it's extremely durable and it gets you to that solid surface countertop place if you're using granite, right, on your countertops. And that's great. We also have a lot of homes that were built, a lot of homes that were built that have granite countertops. And right now, maybe the trend is leaning more towards quartzite, quartz, marble. There's also a lot of influencers who love like a vintage historic home that have, you know, like a tile countertop, and they like that too. But the granite countertops are in homes far and wide. And I don't always think you have to replace it to update everything. Also, I just have a lot of clients that are liking it. They want the durability of it without the compromise that comes of marble or anything else like that. So what I always suggest is that you go to a stone yard and look, no matter what countertop material you're thinking about. You always want to keep an open mind and go and see what's out there. Some of my favorite granites, I would say Colonial White, which is a white base and it's got like some brown and tan and light gray speckles. It's very transitional. It's something worth looking at. Also, what a lot of people are doing because of the soapstone trend is they're doing honed black granite. And that's really beautiful too, because the black granite, it looks like really deep black when it's polished, but when it's honed, it actually has a much more of that like charcoaly gray effect to it that a lot of people really like. And some black granites have like streaks of white through them, almost like veins, and they look really good. So that's always something to think about. But that builder grade granite, you know what I'm talking about. It's the speckled, it's that like really kind of yellowy brown tan granite. What a lot of people are doing that are buying homes and renovating them, they're like, okay, the granite's expensive to change, so we're gonna keep it and we'll just change the color scheme of everything else to accommodate it. And they're choosing some of these neutral tones, these like mushroomy, gray, beige, brown tones, and they're using the granite as like that warm accent or pop, doing a neutral backsplash with it. So everything kind of fades in and blends together, and they're eliminating some of the really rich wood tones that we often saw with this sort of granite, and they're painting cabinetry and whatnot. So that's something to think about. If you have that granite, you really don't like it, but you don't have the budget to swap out the granite, like maybe you think about pivoting everything else around it to accommodate it. There's also a lot of different variations of granite. Some of them are really beautiful, and some of them maybe you think are a little too busy or a little too varied in color, but some of them are really good. So don't write off the granite section of the stone yard if you're looking for new countertops. Go walk down every single aisle. Go get a coffee and make a day of it. It's like a natural history museum. I love a stone yard, so go look at everything they have to offer before you make a final decision. Actually, shout out down in the comment section. Do you want me to take you on an adventure, a little field trip to some stone yards where I can point out some things I think are beautiful, some alternative materials, or just show you what's out there? Sound off down below because I want to hear from you. Now, another trend that is back-ish, I mean, it wasn't necessarily a trend that was out, but it's kind of back, like we'll get into it, is the cool granny trend. Now, the cool granny trend is not about being a grandmother or a granny for that matter. It's about younger people are like, hey, we love these like granny type of things, and they are really fun. And they're embracing them in ways that are just interesting and different. Sometimes it's just, you know, like a little bit more cottagecore vibes, but other times it's more vibrant, more impactful, and a mix of those postmodern era colors that are really vibrant and saturated with some of those more traditional prints and wallpapers and fabrics and floral prints, all of these things. It's fun, it's interesting, and I do love when I see something different. Even if it's not what I would do, like I'm never gonna be like, my style is cool grandmother. Like, that's cool. Like my grandmother was really cool, but that wasn't her style. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's granny. I would say it's like more of this like modernized cottagecore vibe. Like maybe it's like cottagecore acid trip, which that's fun. But a lot of younger people are doing this and they think it's fun. I like when I see something. I like when my perspective on design is challenged. I like when I see something new. And I like when I see something reinvented as new. So a mix of different things, a mix of antiques and vintage and new pieces and modern takes on old pieces, all of that really inspires me and I like it. And a lot of these pieces you see are gonna be like scallop trim and trim details and panels on doors and things like that, but they'll be painted in really vibrant or saturated colors. And I like that. And it's almost like a take on the grand millennial trend, but more enhanced and even more colorful. It's fun, it's interesting, and we're seeing a lot of this come back. We're seeing a lot of people really enjoy these patterns and prints because your home is a reflection of you and who you are. It doesn't have to be all beige, all neutral, all minimal. It doesn't have to be those things. It can be, but what does that say about you? Does that say that you're neutral, that you're beige, that you enjoy a bowl of oatmeal? I don't know. I want a space that's interesting. I think when you look at my home, you see that it's glamorous and sophisticated, but there's also a sense of casual usage to it that, like, you know, I love it, but it's all just kind of curated in my own way, that everything has a little story to it. And I would hope that it comes across as not being pretentious, but maybe that's not the case. Also, there's some things in my home that I think say that I'm humorous and that I am not taking things all that seriously. And I like that too when it comes to your space. So everything doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It doesn't have to be what everybody online thinks is gonna be great or is, you know, the perfect example of whatever. You have to enjoy your space and love it, and it has to be a reflection of yourself. And this is what this is for a lot of these people. And that's always what I'm encouraging you to do in your home. So if you need some great design advice, but you want to apply that to your space personally, I suggest you join our design-loving community, our LeChic family, if you will, by hitting that subscribe button, turning that button from red to gray, and joining us. I would also greatly appreciate if everyone watching could take a moment and give this video a like. And I know everybody asked you to do that, but not everybody has a cute little cavalier who is asking you to do that. Or maybe they do, but they're not as cute as this one. Or they are then. Now, another trend that is back that people are loving, I'm seeing all over social media, are like mushroom and gray colors and even browns. And the reason I say this is back is because the last time we were really using like neutrals that are like earthy, kind of like muddy tones, I feel like was coming off of the 1970s, like pre-1970s, post-1970s, that era. And the reason people are bringing them in and really liking them is because it's a safe way to move away from all white spaces. I love an all white space, okay? My living room is all white. Well, the walls are all white, not all the furniture and everything. So if you want to move away from that in a safe way, a lot of people are using these brown-based tones. These, like, I call them mushroom colors because it just looks like the color of some mushrooms sprouting out of the ground. Super neutral, super earthy. And that feels really good. And for a long time there, we would say earth tones, and we would mean like camel and brown and chocolate and these really rich, deep colors. We'd mean greens and, you know, colors that are of the earth. But these are a little more light neutrals or light earth tones, colors that have more of a brown base. And so that's a little bit more of that earthy, neutral, organic, it's giving earthworm energy vibe. And I do think it's a good thing. And like I said with the granite, a lot of people are pairing that dated granite with some of these earthier, more like mushroom tones, and that's really pretty. So when you're out looking for colors and you're trying to decide on something for your space, grab a bunch of color swatches and bring them home and see what they look like on your walls. And don't be afraid to have a little adventure and have a little fun. The people with the best style embrace a little bit of color, something that's unexpected, something that's a little different, something that maybe you're not gonna see everywhere else, because I don't want my house to be like everybody else, because I'm not like everybody else. If my home is a reflection of me, then it's not gonna be like every other home in the neighborhood, every other home that you see online. It's gonna be a little different. And I love that for you. I love that for me too. Embrace some of these colors if you're a fan of like an all white space and you want to get away from it. These earthy tones, they're safe, they're neutral, but they are beautiful. Now, another trend that is back, and I'm kind of here for it, I'm really kind of liking this, is the textured tile trend. And what do I mean by textured tile? I mean these kind of handmade looking tiles that they have movement to them. They usually have a finished surface that is a little bit more glossy or shiny, but that showcases the movement within the surface of the tile, and I really like that. But the trend right now is to mix two different shades or types of tile together. So you may have something that is like a square, handmade looking tile with that kind of organic, handmade looking subway tile in a different color. These can be really cool, especially if you're embracing a colored tile, because it's a great way to take away from the color a little bit. So it's not just that color you see. It's like, I see the color, but I also see the movement, I see the texture in the tile, I see, you know, it has good flow to it, and oh, wait a second, it's paired with something interesting. Look at the edges of it. Like I'm seeing all of these refined details that this tile has that are taking away from the color, which is good because a colored tile is a commitment. I'm seeing them used in bathrooms primarily if you're doing like a two-tone tile situation. It's so cool to see a shower that's like, you know, got an interesting tile detail or pattern to it. It's all about the finished details to me. It's like if you're going for that modern look with a mix of tiles, you don't want to trim out everything in one tile and then have the main accent be another. Like let's do the floor and then the step into the shower in one material. Let's do the walls of the shower in another, the niche in that same material that matches the wall so it kind of blends into the background. Maybe we choose something else or a mosaic for the tile floor in the rest of the bathroom. All of that is really cool, and I think it's definitely worth considering. The one big takeaway with any sort of tile is like, how are you cleaning it? How are you gonna take care of this? How are you maintaining it? Because if it has textured edges, is it gonna like get a buildup of, I don't know, like grime on it that you're gonna have to scrub off? I don't like that. What's the grout line on that look like? Can you make it a little thinner so you save yourself a little bit? Think about all of these things. And also when you're mixing different types of tile, what color is the grout? Which one works best? Do you want it to accent both of them? Do you want it to blend into one or stand out in another? All of these are things to think about, but this is a big trend I'm seeing. And it's interesting to me that we're getting away from some natural stones. You know, having a full marble bathroom is not for everybody. Not everybody wants it. Not everybody cares about it. Not everybody wants to spend the money on it. Choose things that are interesting, that reflect your personality, but you know you can live with in the long term and have a little bit of fun. Be adventurous and see what's out there, but be careful you're not jumping too hard on a trend that's just gonna be out quickly. Well, there you have it, everyone. Here are some dated design trends that are back, and I personally am very excited about, but I also am excited about showcasing some of the design basics that beginners always get wrong and you should avoid, so check out that video right over here, and I will see you over there. You better be careful, mister. You better be careful. I know, you're so cute. Oh, hi. Hi.